This shot came about because I had to do a tour poster for Midnight Oil going to America. And so I went out with them on the Blue Sky mining. They were out doing a sort of film clips for that whole thing, for the Blue Sky mining album that came out. So out I went, and Gary, the manager, told me I had first priority to get these shots, not just for the touring poster, but also for Rolling Stone America. And so I thought, okay, the pressure's on. So when I got out there, we went out to a place called Kalgoorlie, and Kalgoorlie is quite a wild town in itself. But when we got out there, we not only had myself, we had the film crew who was doing the Blue Sky mining film clips. We also had MTV Australia and MTV France. So what happened is we had all these people vying for an angle to get photos of Midnight Oil. And no disrespect to French or in particular, but the French film crew was pretty arrogant the way they were trying to get angles, to the point where it started to get very tense and there was a lot of aggression going on. It was getting a bit out of control. And for me, this wasn't the way to really be trying to get really nice pictures. So I thought, someone's got to be a peacemaker here. So I went to the guys who were actually doing the clips for the album, and I said, look, how about I try and, keep peace between the film crews, and I'll work around you. I won't demand anything, but I'll just try and, see how I go on keeping things level at the same time, and just grab a few shots around. And they said, Ken, that would be great if you could do that. So off I went doing that. And I said, look, the only thing is on the last day, I need to know that I've got some time to do my shots. And they said, fantastic. So we spent a few days, trying to keep the peace and keeping things going. And I took some shots, but nothing that, I felt that was that great. And then finally, my day came, and everybody else had their stuff in the can. They already had their shots. And by the time my day came, by 9 o'clock, it's over 40 degrees. And when it's that sort of temperature at 9 o'clock, it's only going to get hotter. And in fact, it became so hot, it was one of the hottest days in record out at Kalgoorlie. It was well over like 50 degrees out in the sun. And so it was talking seriously hot. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I've got to get my shots. And all the other guys are thinking, this is not looking really good for you because bright sunlight's not what you want. And so I convinced the guys to go out in the middle of the day and onto these rock tailings that we found near one of the mines. And it looked very, desolate, very Martian landscape. And we went out there, and the ground was so hot that Peter, who, usually dances pretty differently at the best of times, the next minute, not only he's dancing, but everybody's like hopping and skipping because it's so hot. It's the heat's coming through the soles of our shoes, and we're all just going, they're going, Ken, I'm not sure this is working. And I'm going, I'm not sure either. And in the end, I thought, this is not going to work. So we went back to the pool, and everybody's swimming, and the little French guys with their little bits of string swing suits and all that sort of stuff. And they're all saying, so how's it going, Ken? And I'm saying, well, we've got a few problems. And by this stage, all these clouds had come in because big storms were building up. And they're going, gee, not looking that good, is it? And I thought, no. And so I finally thought, what am I going to do? So I had a bit of a swim. I thought, let's go out to these salt plains that we'd seen outside of town where we'd been doing some shots before. And all the film crews and everybody said, oh, we'll come out and watch because we'd love to see what you do. And in fact, I think they really wanted to watch me burn because, I'd been trying to be Mr. Peacemaker through the week. And they just wanted to see me under pressure. And so the next minute they all came out and they said, oh, we're going to get a few pickup shots while we're out there as well. But we went out there, and the next minute they had all these deck chairs behind me. So here I am photographing, but I've got a whole entourage of people behind me, and they've got the Eskies there, and they're drinking their beer and all this sort of stuff. And the more they're drinking, the more funny their compliments or their comments are getting. And they're saying, gee, Ken, it's not looking really good because it's getting really bad weather, like El Pucosville. And I'm just thinking, God, what's happening? Come on, give us a break, because I'd felt a real peace that if I helped be a peacemaker, that I'd get a break. And I'm talking to one of the roadies who was also a Christian, and I'm saying, gee, man, it's not looking good. And he said, it's typical God, 5 minutes to 12, he'll probably turn up. And I'm thinking, well, I hope so, because we've only got about half an hour of the day left by now. And I'm just thinking, oh, my goodness. And then all of a sudden, everybody put all their cameras away because they thought nothing's going to happen. And what happened is all of a sudden this huge wind came. And, you know, if you notice, there's a few guys with hats. Well, other guys had hats too, but the wind was so strong, it just blew the hats right across. Goodbye hats, you know. And I'm thinking, oh, Lord, give me a break, as if it isn't bad enough already. And I'm just thinking, oh. And then what happened is it's died down, and that wind, in a way, was a great blessing because it actually blew a hole in the clouds on the horizon. Then all of a sudden the sun just popped into this little hole, and bam, out comes the rainbow. I'm like, ah! And like, I didn't have time for technicality. I was like, click, 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 click. Now, meantime, behind me, all these guys just go, oh my goodness. And they'd packed everything away. And so they're rushing to try and get their camera out. And in the time, they had like a lead between the camera and the recording unit. And what had happened is the cord had got caught around someone's throat. And so some guy's trying to get the camera, and the recorder's been held by someone else. And there's some guy in the middle going, ah! Anyhow, I'd finished. I just, you know, was taking the shots. All I could hear is this big noise behind me. And then finally, when they untangled this guy whose neck was, you know, there, the guy came out with the camera. And he didn't get one single shot of that whole sequence because the rainbow just disappeared. And he looks at me and says, you lucky dog. And I go, mate, getting looked after. God's good. So that's how close it can be sometimes to get these photos.